I tell you, I miss John Candy. He was he was such a formidable force, not just in these classic beloved comedies that we grew up with and love, but as an all-around fantastic actor that carried a lot of range to his performances, where he can have you cracking up, completely belly laughing, and at the very next moment have you in tears or pulling on heartstrings. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is a prime example of John Candy's range. He was such a beloved actor where personally every time I saw him on screen, it warmed my heart. And I don't know, he just made everything seem okay. I felt as if, this may sound kind of silly, but I felt as if he understood me. And I'm sure many of you felt the same way. And I don't think we're ever going to have another actor like this again. I miss you, John. I miss you. Promised myself I wouldn't cry. Well, we can all celebrate John Candy's life and his career warm in our hearts with today's film, Uncle Buck, that was released on Kino Lorber with a fresh new 4K scan from the original 35mm negative, forming a 4K DI with HDR and Dolby Vision grading, and preserving the original theatrical ratio of 1:8:5:1. Now, I still own this previous Blu-ray from Universal that came out in 2010, 2011. So let's dive in and take a closer look at Uncle Buck on 4K UHD against the previous Universal Blu-ray and see how the 4K quality has been improved and if this is really worth the upgrade. I was blown away with this 4K. This is an excellent 4K UHD presentation that is a true night and day difference between the previously released Blu-ray. Right away you can easily tell this is a new scan. The image is brighter and the color reproduction is top notch with the color timing that looks refreshed, bright, and vibrant. The HDR10 Dolby Vision grading really opens up the color gamut wider now, allowing all those colors to really flourish. Primaries look outstanding, from bright candy reds to energetic yellows, from the various blues looking natural, and also some lush greens. And secondaries look just as good. Highlights are also handled much better here without any blown out areas, such as Buck's globe lamp on his nightstand. It's blown out on the Blu-ray, where on the 4K it's not, it's more balanced out. And the same goes for neon signs that aren't blown out or hot on the 4K. Saturation is excellent and on point without looking artificial or overly hot. Skin tones look healthy and warm, unlike the Blu-ray that lean more towards a palish skin tone. The saturation also breathes whole new life back into the image that draws out so much more depth and nuances within the color ranges. It really elevates the image quality a lot. Contrast is also improved. That really helps with many of the daylight scenes looking naturally lit, where the previous Blu-ray, the daylight scenes looked slightly overly exposed. And also helps with night and low light scenes, especially with light sources in the darker scenes. Black levels look excellent. The Blu-ray was a mess, from bright gray blacks to some heavy crushing out of details. The 4K and the HDR Dolby Vision grading really pushes the black levels to a whole new level, with deep, inky, truer looking blacks and improved, richer shadows. The shadows especially look impressive and draws out more depth, especially with light sources casting in shadows or with silhouettes, such as Uncle Buck's silhouette. The improved black and shadows also really helps in drawing out more information in the image with clear visibility. Uncle Buck's image quality is stunning. The 4K scan cleans up the image from any unwanted anomalies, such as artifacts like yellow splotches, black and white specks, or lines, while also leaving in baked-in anomalies intact from a 35mm negative. Facial close-ups are sharp and clear, revealing lines, wrinkles, facial features, skin textures, makeup, and details and textures look incredible, from objects around the house with interior shots and exterior shots, even down to patterns on wallpaper, patterns on furniture, and even patterns on dishware. Backgrounds also remain sharp and clear even within close-up shots. Even lettering from writing on notes or from signs are all clearly legible now, while on the Blu-ray they were slightly blurry. The image also has more depth, giving some terrific three-dimensionality that gives a much more lifelike appearance, where the Blu-ray just had a pretty lifeless, flat look to it. The bitrate is nice too. I saw it in the high 70s and top out in the high 90s Mbps, and it's on a 100 gigabyte disc. The grain structure is also intact here, which is much better than the previous Blu-ray that carried a lot of grain management, that actually made some skin textures look waxy and even some smoothing out of the image looking slightly blurry in some scenes. Now the 4K scan has a very, very nice and tight thin layer of natural 35mm grain field, giving a nice filmic appearance. Now, as far as the audio presentation of Uncle Buck on 4K, it does come at us with a new DTS HD Lossless 5.1 surround mix and the original theatrical stereo mix that was included on the Blu-ray. And both tracks sound great, either one works. But what I did find with the 5.1 track is that the audio does sound clearer and louder. I mean, obviously Uncle Buck is a dialogue-driven film and much of the audio is front-end heavy. Outside of the pop tracks and the film score that sounds wide and runs through the front to the rear channels, and atmospherics as well come through, but sparingly, but they are there in the surround channels. Dialogue is rendered crystal clear and clean, and I also noticed some slight off-screen dialogue here and there in the left and right front channels. The LFE is used here mainly for the pop tracks like Tone Loc's Wild Thing instrumental version, and Uncle Buck's Dilapidated Car, when it backfires, has some nice weight and heft to it. This is a great sounding 5.1 mix. Alright, so my score for Kino Lorber's 4K UHD presentation of Uncle Buck, I'm giving this one a 5 out of 5. This is definitely one you want to upgrade to, or if you don't already own it, add it to your collection. This is a great 4K UHD presentation. But head over to the comment section and let me know, when you look at the differences between the two formats, the 4K UHD and the previous release Blu-ray, which do you think looks better? Or do you see much difference at all? Head over to the comment section and let me know. Alright guys, well thanks so much for hanging out with me for a few minutes here as we get into Uncle Buck on 4K UHD from Kino Lorber and comparing it to Universal's previous Blu-ray, because this thing is a piece of crud. As always guys, keep physical media alive, and we'll see you next time with another Blu-ray versus 4K comparison.